I hope by now you've watched the short video all about the artist Alma Woodsey Thomas. We're going to use inspiration from her beautiful landscapes and color theory paintings and create a landscape of our own today. You're going to need a heavy white piece of paper, your watercolors if you have them, but if you don't, I'm going to show you a fun way to create a landscape inspired by her using markers, crayons, colored pencils, or a combination of anything that you have around the house. The first option that I'm going to show you is with watercolor. As the video goes on, I'll show you another option using markers, crayons, and colored pencils. But to start each example, we're going to need a horizon line. Using a pencil, you're going to draw a horizon line, which is the line that divides the sky from the land. Your line can be straight like a plane, it can be a zigzag line like a mountain, it can be a soft wave like this one. You get to decide. We're going to be using warm and cool colors, and you can decide whether you want your sky to be cool colors, which would be blues, greens, and purples, or warm colors like the example that I'll show you here, yellows, oranges, and reds. I'm going to continue working on this example that I already started, and you can probably tell that I started with a half circle for my sun using yellow, but one thing I want to show you is how I mixed the next color by using the reservoir in the top of my watercolor tray, which you might have. I used some water. I started with the lightest color, which was yellow. I added a little bit of orange, and I created this nice yellow-orange color that I'll use next. And then I just used the regular orange from the tray and red. And I'm going to continue filling the sky with my brush strokes, using thick and thin lines, keeping them spaced, using my inspiration from Alma Woodsey Thomas, and fill the rest of it up. Now I'm going to start on my land, and I'm going to work on this section here. So again, you can do this however you want. Try to separate some things that you know about color. I'm focusing on warm colors at the top and then cool colors here. And if you wanted to, you could use, again, this little section in your watercolor tray. If you have watercolor, I'm going to make like a blue violet. So I'm using a little blue, a little of my violet. And again, water does not work without water. I want to make sure it's nice and flowy. If it's ever thick, you're not using it the right way. So I can clean that out later on. But I'm just going to go ahead and start at the top. I really don't want to see my pencil line. I could probably erase it later, but if I make my lines along that edge, I don't think you'll see it as much. I'm going to switch and make a skinnier line, just turning my paintbrush. Depending on what type of brushes you have, your marks would look different than mine, I'm sure. I'm going to try to make a blue-green, so I'm going to use some blue, or some green, lots of water, a little blue, mix it up, a little more blue. Let's see how that works. I've gathered a bunch of art supplies that you may have around the house to create your landscape. If you don't have watercolor, that's fine. All of these supplies can make different types of marks and different sized marks. So if you use a regular old washable marker, I'm going to make a sun, for example. If you hold your broadline marker on the edge, you can make wider marks, and I am going to make, I'm going to make a half circle. Not as easy to maneuver than with a paintbrush. It will definitely help to turn your paper when you're doing this. In the middle. Okay. Maybe you are a really detailed person and you want to make some thin marks in between your thick mark. So this could be like a sunset or a sunrise coming up. Maybe I'll do 2 layers of the orange. Okay, and again, you could also use crayons. I think it gives it a little bit of texture to try new things, try other materials. All right, I am gonna fast forward and just keep going and fill the space. Again, I'm working hard to separate the warm colors from the cool. I'm really thinking about how I want my landscape to look, thinking about how colors look next to each other. You can kind of have a practice page next to you and try colors out before you really lay them where you want them to go. I can't wait to see what you create, and here comes mine. Okay, for the next section, you can go ahead and choose another set of colors or do this however you want. I think I'm going to use a combination of colored pencil and marker. And I just remembered I didn't finish this spot, so I'm going to do that too. And I'm going to go ahead and vary up my sizes of my little dashes and shapes and lines. All right, for my last one, I'm gonna go ahead and just finish up with a little bit more of my cool colors repeated, but I think I'm gonna start with some blues this time. And see if I can make this section a little bit brighter. Let me turn my All right, I'm gonna go ahead and fast forward.